points or more. I mean, that just doesn't happen in the NFL. Actually, 11 games. As we do know, only 24 teams played this weekend, right? You had 6 with a bye, and, well, I guess that's right. Well, maybe it was 26 who played, and 6 with a bye. You have, Washington at Kansas City tonight, and 8 of those 26 did not have their starting quarterback. Okay, and now you can add a 9th to that with the announcement coming in that Carson Wentz, gone for the year now in Minnesota. A left shoulder surgery is scheduled. J.J. McCarthy, who's been suffering through a high ankle sprain, will take over now in Minnesota. But you go to last Thursday night's game, it was LAC all over Minnesota. All right, I thought the Vikings would definitely play with them. That wasn't the case. The Dolphins 34-10 over Atlanta. I got that one wrong. I thought the Dolphins were a lame duck program, and that Mike McDaniel would be the next head coach. Fired. Atlanta plays well at home. Wasn't the case yesterday. The Patriots, I mean, just absolutely out of this world. They really struggled early on, at least offensively. Then Drake May, have you seen his numbers? They're like MVP type of numbers. All of a sudden, New England's won 5 in a row. The Eagles pound the Giants 38-20. The Bills all over the Panthers 40-9. The Ravens 30-16 against the Bears. I mean, these are like college football games against directional schools. Maybe one of the better games of the day was Houston, and they upped San Francisco by 11 points. The Texans remain alive with a record of 3-4. You look at the AFC South, the Colts dominant as expected. They may have the best running back right now in the NFL in Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones, his average per attempt was 9.4 in the victory. 21 of 29, 3 touchdowns. All of a sudden, the Colts break them up. They're 7-1. Your idle Jaguars 4-3, and they are a 3-point favorite this weekend in Las Vegas. Both teams coming off a bye. Texan, again, still alive are the Texans at 3-4. And then Tennessee, long gone at 1-7. But you just go on and on and on here. Tampa Bay winning 23-3 at New Orleans. All right, Denver clobbering Dallas at home by 20, 44-24. And the aforementioned Colts just all over the Tennessee Titans, 38-14. Last night's game was pretty close. I mean, Pittsburgh had a 16-7 lead, and they let it get away by giving up 21 points in the fourth quarter. Green Bay wins on the road against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there you go. I mean, just one of those type of weekends where it's basically one that I wouldn't have believed going in. I've always been a big fan of, in my gaming days, playing the total over a side, and you can just look here. I mean, just about every single game came in as an over as well. We'll see what happens tonight. Kansas City favored by 10.5. The over's 48.5 against the visiting Washington Commanders. All right, we're going to be busy tonight. Daniel Griffiths at 6:33. We're going to take a look at the numbers here and really kind of figure out, at least mathematically speaking, what's going on with Trevor Lawrence? What's going on with the offensive line? Can you get any pressure? Can you get any sacks from your defensive line? I think, if you look at things that have to change as we begin the second half of the season, nothing is bigger than in the ditch. Protecting Trevor Lawrence, hopefully finding a way to run the football once again, like they did the first 4 to 5 weeks. And then certainly defensively, just creating a little bit of havoc. It's not working. And you understand that Trayvon Walker's not 100%. You understand that Josh Allen's getting double teamed, okay? Those are legitimate excuses. But you have to make plays. And, Eric Armstead's actually had a pretty decent year. Fully playing inside. You're just not getting it from Mason Smith. You're just not getting it right now from Devon Hamilton. So we're going to spend a lot of time looking at that. And again, that's coming up at 6:33 with Daniel Griffiths. All right, let's go from Daniel Griffiths to Diana Rossini, who is wrong more than she's right, yet she consistently gets promoted, makes more cash, and power to her. She's kind of like a failed college football coach, just pay him the buyout and let him walk away. Rossini does a decent job of covering herself by never really coming out and saying that this is going to happen. She'll say, hey, the Jaguars are listening to calls or listening on calls with Brian Thomas Jr. And then she'll say, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to move him. What Diana Rossini does a lot of is throw out situations where the story is half pregnant. It's really the best way to describe it. Well, Liam Coen was asked about this earlier today when he met with the media on the latest involved with Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I am very optimistic. We have no plans on moving Brian Thomas Jr. At all. Saw something about that over the weekend. I talked to him for a good amount of time this morning, and it's just a good reset for a lot of these guys to come in fresh, 4-3 with everything ahead of us. Regardless, good, bad, or indifferent, what's happened in the first 7 games, we all have an opportunity to write a narrative. We own the narrative, and so I got a lot of confidence in him. I really do believe that we can turn the corner and get better in the pass game that way.
So there you have it. And, I don't think it's necessarily irresponsible by Diana Rossini, who was, just couldn't have been more wrong a few years back on the firing of Doug Marrone. And remember, when they did not fire him, Jim Woodcock had to send out a statement along with Shad Khan. She just laughed about it, and then she ended up getting promoted. So she must do a good job in some circles. Again, I wouldn't call it irresponsible, but the attempt was to ruffle some feathers. Well, those feathers are gone, all right? Liam Coen put an end to it. He's not going anywhere. And again, I think in situations like this, you have to take what the national media says about the Jaguars with a grain of salt. There's very few who actually know that. I also firmly believe the leak did not come out of the Miller Electric Center. I'm one of those who believes that this was an agent or this was a general manager or a higher-up source from another team in the NFL who gave this information to Rossini. Either or, it's basically doesn't matter because he's not going to get moved. And if you want to trade him as opposed to trying to fix him, I really have a problem with that. Unless he says, I want out, you're not going to get value for Brian Thomas Jr. People are talking about first-round picks. The way he's played, he can't fetch a first-round pick. Okay, we know what he did a year ago. We know he's got the talent, but he's gun-shy right now. And teams aren't going to give up that for this young wide receiver if these issues only continue. For what it's worth, Rossini came out and said some similar stuff that has now really fired up Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian. She went on to say that he would be interested in NFL jobs, including the Titans job. I saw it in some other places. His name has been mentioned for the Miami Dolphins job. But again, the very creative Rossini kind of puts it out there and then at the very end says, oh, yeah, but it may not happen. Here's the best way to describe it, and I'll never forget doing this when I was in Chicago when we were breaking down a game. And I asked him, well, who do you think wins? And he says, well, I really think Washington wins unless New York scores more points. That's the way I would evaluate the reporting of Miss Rossini. All right, when we do return, what the hell's going on in my college football? What the hell's going on with your college football? This is absolutely insane, okay? Florida's now what? Second best job? Third best job? Right? LSU, those people around there swear it's a better job. To me, that's a six-pack argument. Who is a better job, LSU or Florida? Penn State is an older blue blood, right? I mean, Penn State was a part of something for years and decades. Before Florida never won anything until they cheated in the 80s, right? The Charlie Pell stuff and whatever, right? They just never won. And Penn State has always been around. Penn State has always, even though they haven't done much in the last 20 years, I think that with the amount of money they have and the conference that they are in, and yes, in this case, the Big Ten has won the 2 last national championships. I do think Penn State is a better job than Florida and LSU. Now, I'm a weather guy, okay? I'm a quality of life guy. If the jobs were offered to me, I would go in order: Florida, LSU, Penn State, because I want good weather. But I don't think that's the way these coaches look at things. Let's just break this down. And what's going to happen next? I mean, who's the next coach to go? This came on the heels of a beatdown, 49-25 at home at LSU. Brian Kelly, and man, it feels like Jimbo all over again. Brian Kelly's just getting destroyed as he leaves. I mean, people are making comments about his responsibility at Notre Dame for the young man who died on a tower. To the day, I think it goes down as one of the biggest unreported stories in college football over the last 50 years. He basically got a pass on that, and it cost a young man his life. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go ahead and Google it. Again, certain things go unreported for one reason or another. I think this story absolutely did, and we just keep hearing how miserable, how bad of a guy Brian Kelly is. Not really aware of that, okay? But that's what's being said now. The way he left Cincinnati, the way he left Notre Dame, this time doesn't work out that way. He ends up getting fired, as we do know, at LSU. All right, comments tonight and every night brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. I actually got a round of golf in, first time in a couple of months, early Saturday morning. And was playing with my buddy Derek from GFL, and he said he and his wife have both made appointments now to get laser eye surgery with Shmunez Vision. He's like, listen, I can't see anymore. I'm tired of my glasses. I just want to get laser eye surgery. And I said, well, you're going to the absolute best. So here's the deal. Derek and his wife, they're going to go in. They're going to have an examination. They're going to get straight to the point if it is laser eye surgery. They're not going to put you into machine after machine after machine after machine and continue to raise the price. That's not the way they work. Remember, they're all about the most value for your money. So they'll find out if, in fact, they are a candidate for laser eye surgery. And if that is the case, guess what? You can ask Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt, any question you want. They're going to answer each and every one of them, and they are going to be the folks who actually do the surgery. How cool is that? You have questions. We all have questions, right? I'm actually not going to be here tomorrow. My girlfriend's having back surgery. We asked all sorts of questions, right? Can you imagine going to your eye doctor, having questions, and being told, oh, no, I got to go see another patient, walk down the hall and talk to a surgery counselor? What? Not at Shmunez Vision. Go to Shmunez Vision. You can also check him out on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. All right, when we come back, let's bring in Dylan Denmark. We're about 20 minutes away from Daniel Griffiths. A ton on college football and an awful lot coming up on the Jaguars as well.
Get everything you need to know for your weekend on Pre-Game Friday.
We've saved the best for last.
Who's in, who's out, who's on upset watch. And I like it. Pre-Game Friday, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Northeast Florida Auto, Power Sports, and RV dealers. Tom McMahon here for Dealer Connect. The nation's #1 AI conference for dealers is coming to Jacksonville October 29th and 30th at the Marriott Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach. It's 2 days of tackling the future of AI in automotive with some of the industry's biggest names. Keynote speaker, Hall of Famer Joe Theismann will autograph items to benefit the Tom Coughlin J Fund. Get tickets now at DealerConnect2025.com. That's DealerConnect2025.com. TenTenXL.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coen & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? Do you know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coil. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. Since 1927, Coil has been the fencing leader in Northeast Florida. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coil & Sons today at 904-356-4821, coiljacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E jacks.com. Coil Fencing, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
The Friday night lights are shining even brighter as 1010XL has partnered with Channel 4 to bring you Friday Night Lights, a live streaming show at 7 o'clock every Friday, presented by Farrah and Farrah on the social media channels of 1010XL and Channel 4.
Hicken here. Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139, plus a free haul, and take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of these huge savings.
When you buy online, you really cannot tell because you're not looking at the stone. So it's impossible to buy a stone online that you could really see everything about it. You have to buy a diamond in person.
That's John Lupo at Beards Diamonds, who says one big mistake is trying to buy a diamond online. Because each diamond is unique, you need to examine it for yourself.
Otherwise, you can get fooled, you can get tricked, and that's not a good thing when you're spending thousands of dollars.
At Beards, John's son Ben says they give each customer the ability to compare multiple diamonds in their price range. Not just on paper, but up close inside and outside.
Go outside in the natural daylight. That's the best test to be able to see the exact color in the stone, see the brilliance in the stone, and the fire and the scintillation, which is very, very important.
People want to know what they're spending this money on, and they also want to be protected.
That's why Beards takes it a step farther with a money-back guarantee and a trade-up policy that guarantees you will always get what you paid when you upgrade. Buy with confidence at locally owned Beards Diamonds in St. John's Town Center.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Ballou & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Ballou & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Well, saw a lot of 92.5 FM listeners at the Tedeschi Truck Show on Friday night, and it was absolutely spectacular. I'm sure they were just as good on Saturday. I was considering going back, but, you know, I had to nestle myself into everything that was a, you know, pretty interesting college football Saturday, which ended up with the firing of Brian Kelly. Dylan Denmark, this one caught me by surprise. I knew he was on the hot seat, but I didn't think he'd be out of work as early as Sunday morning.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was Sunday Night Football was about to come on, and you know, I'm just randomly checked Twitter at 8:30. I'm like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah,
just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was surprising, and apparently Ole Miss is already in the playoff, Rick. So you just don't worry about the month of November. They're already in the playoff.
Yeah,
apparently.
They're in, especially in that conference. I mean, everything's a gimme.
There's no such thing as upsets in the SEC.
But that becomes a big-time question. You know, if the pursuit is Lane Kiffin, who we know has talked to his players, who we know has said that money is not the issue, what if they go deep into January? If you're LSU and you're Florida and you think you have a real good shot of getting Lane Kiffin, but you don't know for sure? Do you go for option number 2 and try to make that happen, December 1st, as opposed to waiting another month and some change? And then if you don't get the guy, then you're really up against it.
Yeah, and then it's, who is available, because a lot of these jobs are available, and we're not even at Halloween yet. So that's probably the biggest question with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. If he makes a playoff run, what do you do if you want him?
Tonight's show is brought to you by the good folks over at Miller Electric. And, folks, they're hiring. I mean, no matter where you look, there is construction going on. There is building going on. More and more people want to live here in Duval. If you're, struggling and college is not your thing, if you want a change career-wise, or maybe you're an electrician right now that just feels you're undervalued, that's not the way they work at the Miller Electric Company. They believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, an unbeatable culture where people actually care about one another. And I can absolutely attest to that, because I've spent a lot of time with many of the good people at Miller Electric. So if you're looking for your next big opportunity, just check them out online. Go to Miller Careers. That is Miller Careers. It is an equal opportunity employer. And again, they've been around for 96 years. They're always considered, they're always getting acknowledged for being one of the best companies right here in Jacksonville. All right, let's look at this thing. LSU is open. Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning. Is it possibly John Summerall at Tulane? Is it Joe Brady, the incredible offensive coordinator, when they won the national championship with Joe Burrow and all those talented football players? Penn State, which direction are they going to go? That thing is completely upside down. I saw some ranking, I think it was on ESPN.com, and they had it right now, the best jobs available. LSU 1, Penn State 2, Florida 3. Okay, what we know is those 3 are head and shoulders above the rest. But there is a ton as far as the rest. Arkansas, it's a decent job in a great conference. I don't know if Arkansas is ever going to, if you were to do it the old school way with East and West, Arkansas is kind of there with Mississippi State, maybe Mississippi before Lane Kiffin got there, but they're not in the blue blood category of former Western Division teams like Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and I guess Texas A&M, and we can now put Mississippi in there. And yes, I get it. The divisions are gone. It's now just one conference. Oklahoma State. Think of how fertile that ground is. They've only had 2 coaches in the last 25 some odd years with Les Miles and Mike Gundy, and the opportunity to win the Big 12. Okay, that's there for the taking. With Oklahoma and Texas no longer there. UCLA. It feels like it's a really bad job. UCLA deals with a similar situation that Miami does. The Rose Bowl is far away from campus. It's difficult on the students. And, the shine is off the Rose Bowl. And the last time that I've been to the Rose Bowl 4 times. Okay, I've been to 3 USC UCLA games when we were the home of USC when I was working out of Chicago. And I went to the national championship game between Florida State and Auburn. And that thing was archaic then. It's very similar to the old Orange Bowl. Right? It's very similar to like a Fenway Park or a Wrigley Field or perhaps a Soldier Field or a Lambeau Field, for those of you who have ever been to any one of those parks and or stadiums. It's got history. It's got pageantry, right? It has tradition, but it's just not what it once was. And I think it's only a matter of time until the bulldozers come out and rock that thing. Looks like Jerry Neuheisel was the guy. And then, of course, they got destroyed by Indiana, which continues to be really the best story in all of college football. And, he's not going anywhere. because he just signed that huge contract a week ago. You got Vatek, Brent Pry. His arrogance was nauseating at the initial time that we met him in Charlotte years ago. It was just a bad fit for Vatek. And Vatek's Vatek, right? I mean, they're never going to win. They're always going to be a 6-6 team, a 7-5 team, a 5-7 team. They have a cool entrance, right? They come out like no one else. They rock Metallica, and everyone's going back and forth and back and forth. Then the students end up leaving and head to a bar because before you know it, Vatek's down like 14-3 in the first quarter. Stanford is open. Seems like Andrew Luck's doing the right thing. But again, the academic requirements there at Stanford, I think that leaves a little bit to be desired. I'll be really surprised if a big-name coach ends up there. Although Andrew Luck and some money may change that. We'll see. Oregon State is open, as we know. Colorado State is open, as we know. And then you look at possibilities. Auburn under Hugh Freeze. Feels like that's going to open up. Where does Auburn become? Does that become the fourth best job? I mean, there's Auburn fans who will fight LSU fans. They'll fight Florida fans. They'll say it's a better job. We know it's the second best job in the state of Alabama, where I hate to say it, but Florida is the flagship in this state. Speaking of which, Florida State. What's going to happen there? You know, I mean, this is dead man walking for Mike Norvell. There's absolutely no way he can survive this thing. Right now, Florida State asking for handouts, trying to get more cash. They have to say goodbye to this guy. I can't believe Florida State is an 8.5-point favorite over Wake Forest. Hey, for what it's worth, I have tried now. I have reached out to the athletic director in Mike Arnold. I have reached out to the president, and I have not heard back. I want to know how the investigation is going on death threats. I mean, your defensive coordinator came out last week and said he is receiving death threats. There's nothing more important in Tallahassee than that. So, some transparency is needed. Okay? You can't throw out death threats and then just have it go away. This has to be fully investigated. And right now, they haven't responded. I understand they're busy. They're asking for money. But, I mean, this is something that has to be addressed. And unfortunately, I don't think the local media over there is going to do anything about it. I think the local media has already turned the other cheek. I'm not going to. I'm going to stay on this story. Okay? This man came out. He needs to be protected. His family needs to be protected. He came out and said death threats. That Florida State job is going to open. Wisconsin is going to open with Luke Fickell. Okay? Michigan State could open with Jonathan Smith. Kentucky could open with Mark Stoops. Who knows about Bill Belichick and UNC? Look at these jobs. This is absolutely out of control. And then it's going to become a domino effect, right? If let's say Matt Rule leaves Nebraska and goes to Penn State. Well, then all of a sudden, Nebraska is open. So, opportunity to make some big-time money. No question about it. And we will continue to monitor everything that is happening in the world with coaches in college football. All right, let's shift our attention back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's bring in the data guy. Let's look at some math and how the Jaguars are doing, what's working, what's not. Daniel Griffiths goes into the night with Rick Ballou next.
You down with J-A-G?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with J-A-G?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with J-A-G?
Yeah, you know me.
Who's down with J-A-G?
The Bold City. 1010XL, proud flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Make Honda of the Avenues your first stop for award-winning customer service and world-class Honda vehicles. Our inventory is larger than ever, which means we have the perfect Honda waiting for you. Plus, at Honda of the Avenues, we always put our customers first, making the car buying experience fun, fast, and easy. You'll always find great deals on our huge selection of new and certified pre-owned Hondas, all prepped and ready for a test drive. Come see just how different car buying can be at Honda of the Avenues today. Stop by or shop from home at HondaoftheAvenues.com. Proud sponsor of Sporting Jags.
This right here, this is where it starts. With a little flame and a lot of love. When the air cools or the night falls, fire brings the warmth. But it's what we bring to the table that matters. Slow smoked barbecue. Stories that stretch long. Laughter that lingers. And moments that just feel full. That's why it's always Sonny's here.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm Amber Frangie. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. Call them at 844-346-1800. That's Awaken 180.
Slacker plumbing.
Yeah, hey, listen, I need a plumber over here right now.
Yeah, well, we don't have any openings for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
I was just changing the shower head and the water line broke and it's flying everywhere.
All right, 1 week.
What if I throw you an extra $100 to come now?
What's the address?
It's 205.
Oh, I guess he changed his mind.
If you've got a leak that can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing and fix your plumbing problems fast. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Attention sports fans! Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the big games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Bet anywhere, win here, only at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Guys, don't suffer through this season with prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations with advanced urological care to improve your health and vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Jaguars talk, and Daniel Griffiths joins me in 30 seconds. First things first, what floored me, brought to you by Fantastic Floors. How about Drake May? 18 of 24, 282, averaged 11.8 per, 3 touches and a pick. Despite getting sacked 6 times, he had a quarterback rating of 135.8. I got to tell you, I interviewed him a few years ago in Charlotte at the Atlantic Coast Conference kickoff meetings, and I thought he was just a guy. he is playing spectacular football right now. I mean, he's got an outside chance, if this continues, of really being an MVP candidate. 15 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a quarterback rating of 118.7 through 8 games. That is New England's Drake May. Fantastic Floors. You can check them out online at fanfloors.com, and they've been serving Northeast Florida for over 15 years with quality flooring, huge selection, hardwood tile, LVP, carpet, family-owned, and get this, at-home consultation. No pressure and convenient. They'll come straight to your front door and show you everything that can make your home that much better. Professional installation backed by warranties. Just go to fanfloors.com. All right, let's bring in the data guy. Let's bring in Daniel Griffiths. Always a lot of fun to dive into the numbers with Daniel, and he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. Daniel, always a lot of fun. How you been?
Hey, good to talk again.
And
Get a bye week here to look over some things and kind of see where the Jags are at and where they need to go going forward.
you've had a lot of good stuff, as you always do, the last couple of weeks on this football team. If I was to ask you, mathematically speaking, with your data, what is the biggest concern right now with the Jaguars? What would be your answer?
I'll say overall, just offensive mistakes for a variety of different reasons. Whether it's the penalties, whether it's the sacks, whether it's the drops. I think that the conglomerate of those is probably the biggest concern right now. It's not as if Trevor Lawrence is playing much poorer than we have seen him over the course of his career. He certainly isn't playing fantastic by any means right now, but I think that that's the biggest difference from what we saw the production level last year out of a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. or even out of the offense in certain instances that's maybe holding this back from being a much better offense than it could be.
When we look at Trevor Lawrence, we see that the completion ratio is really down. And again, that's not all his fault. His quarterback rating is down. But then you start to look at the 39 incompletions due to drop passes or wide receiver error, et cetera, et cetera. So how much of this is on Trevor? How much better could he be with the understanding of all the problems that surround him?
Yeah, so PFF has a adjusted completion percentage that accounts for drops, throwaways, batted balls, hit as thrown. So it's essentially completions plus drops over aimed passes. So stuff like throwaways and batted balls don't count. And it's not super complimentary of him. He's 25th behind the line of scrimmage, 24th out of 32 in the short area of the field. Intermediate, he's been half decent. He's about league average, and then deep again is 29th, and that's accounting for drops. So add that with the drops, and we're looking at why the Jaguars have struggled to move the ball through the air this season, especially as of late.
And we talked about this over the summer. Getting ready for the season, we all know that a year ago, Liam Coen had phenomenal success in Tampa in a lot of different categories. And one that really stood out for me was his success with the screen game. That has not really been a part of this 7 games in. I mean, I look at the numbers. Travis Etienne has 14 receptions on 22 targets. And Daniel, I got to believe that most of those targets have been, 5 to 7 yards long behind the line of scrimmage. What's going on there?
Yeah, the Jaguars are, I got 2 shocking numbers for you here. The stuff that should be the easy button has been hard for the Jaguars. They're 32nd in completion percentage on screens.
Wow.
They are 32nd in completion percentage on play action passes.
Wow.
So the 2 easy buttons, hey, let's get, let's try to get the ball in somebody's hands, go make them create, or, using your ability to run to make plays downfield. And the Jaguars have been able to run the football half decently this year. Right. Travis Etienne's still on pace for he's 1250. I think he's on pace for right now. And it's just the super easy stuff, the short area field passing, drops, batted balls, and throwaways are certainly a part of those. But 73% in screen percentage completion is just not good enough. And 50% on play action, exactly 50%.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be more successful than that, both in the short area and the deep part of the field. And the Jaguars have seemingly struggled to do either of those particularly well.
Well, trying to be optimistic here, you got to believe that's going to improve. I mean, these are layups. And, I think that's what frustrates most Jaguar fans, Daniel, is that he misses the easy stuff. I mean, he can throw some balls that only a few guys in the world can do, but it's the easy stuff. And I understand he's been pressured, too. I mean, what has it been? 76 pressures over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, 36 QB hits in the last 3 weeks, 17 sacks. So there's certainly that at play as well.
Yeah, Daniel Griffith is our guest, and he joins us here as we go into the night with Rick Ballou. All right, something that I have talked about the last couple of weeks, and we saw it, albeit it was in garbage time last time out in London against the Rams, but hopefully it really takes off this weekend in Las Vegas against the Raiders. That is Travis Hunter becoming the primary target with the struggles that Brian Thomas Jr. has gone through. What do you have data-wise, and also put your thoughts on this? What do you think about him playing much more offensively now as opposed to defensively as we head to the second half of the year?
Yeah, he's kind of coming along on both sides of the ball. I think corner-wise, he's played really, really, really well. Anything that they've asked him to do, he's done it. He's had several now key pass deflections. Mm-hmm. He had the one on Devonta Adams last week. But offensively, he's tied for second in the NFL among the receivers and missed tackles forced. The Jaguars have kind of struggled in the screen game, but when they've gotten the ball to Travis Hunter, he's making people miss almost every time he gets the ball. Mm-hmm. And that's certainly been, really nice to see his ability to create in space. We're kind of getting along a little bit more, seeing his ball skills early on in the season. Before this past week, he only had 2 catches above 10 yards down the field. And then we kind of see the Jaguars get him more involved in the deep area and really see what he can do as a complete receiver. Because I feel like, the Jaguars have maybe handicapped him a little bit offensively to try not to put too much on him. But
Mm-hmm.
he really shined this past weekend, both down the field and creating after the catch.
All right, one defensive question, then I'm going to ask you for some positives here. The pass rush would not be one. It's been a struggle. Injuries to Walker, the double teaming of Hines Allen, who has a ton of pressures, and the interior defensive line. What data do you have on Jacksonville trying to get to the quarterback?
Yeah, not to be. It's hard not to be critical of the pass rush right now. They're 32nd in sack percentage, and they are 26th in pressure percentage. When not blitzing, they're 28th. And I think that Campanile has done a really, really nice job. But I will say an area that's a bit I'd like to see them maybe work on. The Jaguars drop their defensive line into coverage more than any other team in the NFL. So that's something really interesting when your pass rush isn't really getting home right now to drop them back, and it creates some really unique creative blitz opportunities from, whether it's a corner or a blitzing linebacker. But that's something to note that the Jaguars defensive line does drop into coverage a lot more than most teams.
Wow.
Maybe that's why you don't see the pass rush success that maybe you think you could have sometimes. But certainly the impact of Trayvon Walker not being on the field is really critical right now. Josh Hines Allen is accounting for 33% of the Jaguars' total pressures, which is 8th most in the NFL. So it's kind of really a one-man show. Armstead's shown some flashes as well, but even Hines Allen hasn't been super consistent over the last few weeks.
All right, this is a 4-3 football team, so they have done some things well. Let's wrap it with this, Daniel. What are some things that they have done that really stick out for you on the positive side?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has the lowest turnover-worthy play percentage of his entire career this year, which is super great. The Jaguars have turned. He's had 1 interception in the last 4 games. So that's certainly a positive from the offense, and no one's fumbling. somebody knock on wood somewhere for me. But that's an area the defenses struggled the last few weeks in creating. So it's certainly a good thing that the Jaguars' offense isn't turning the ball over to make matters worse. Rushing, the Jaguars are top 5 in almost every metric. ESPN has them at the highest run block win percentage in the NFL. And Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland, and Robert Hainsey all ranked top 5 at their respective positions. I mentioned Etienne still on pace for about 1,250 yards. The Jaguars just really have to get back to that. They've had the last 2 weeks, the first play of the game offensively has been a sack.
Yeah.
It's really kind of put them behind the 8 ball, especially when the defense has allowed some early touchdowns. Another thing, shout out Monteric Brown, who I think has played excellently since the Jaguars traded Tyson Campbell. He's really stepped up and made some really key plays. He's one of the least targeted corners in the NFL right now, and when he is targeted, he's doing a fantastic job of getting the hands on the ball. He made 2 key, almost back-to-back pass deflections against the Rams this past weekend.
Yeah, for Jag fans, hopefully they'll get back to doing some things offensively. In the first quarter. I know last year Coen averaged 6.7 points in quarter number 1. They're back down to their norm here, 3.3 points so far, 7 games in the first quarter. You can follow Daniel Griffiths. Just go to Dan D. Griffiths, and of course he is with Action News Jacksonville. Daniel, always a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, there he goes. Good stuff there. So, a lot of these numbers are just awful, and yet it's a 4-3 football team. It should be a 5-2 football team. And, I think a lot of these situations, there's obviously room for improvement, but I think it's going to happen. I do. I think they're going to score again early in the first quarter. I do believe that, they're going to do something about the lack of pressures when it comes from your defense. That's an interesting point about dropping defensive linemen. I wasn't aware of that. That's why we bring Daniel Griffiths on. He's got some really good data that he compiles. And, numbers sometimes lie, right? But there's room for improvement, no doubt about it. For what it's worth, I think they can win this game. Absolutely, they can win this game this week in Las Vegas. All right, we got much more to do with you tonight until 8 o'clock. If you'd like to join us, the best way is on our text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Let's also welcome those in watching on YouTube. You can join them. Just go to YouTube and 1010XL into the night.
I know 2 brothers whose minds are always in the gutters.
Hi, I'm Tim.
And I'm Kevin.
We are the Good Brothers.
That's good with an E.
From Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters.
We install 6 and 7-inch seamless gutters, plus we repair and replace roofs, pool enclosures, and super gutters.
We are the Good Brothers, veteran-owned and local.
Visit goodbrothersroofsandgutters.com.
License number CCC 1334384.
Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters.
Hi, it's Rick Ballou. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, Pro Masters, and custom uplifts ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online at jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is served up by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
Football season is all about hanging at home and watching the big ball games. Well, if your AC and heating unit is letting you down and keeping those electric bills sky high, think about getting a new energy-efficient AC unit from Florida Home AC. They've got great deals on replacements plus rebates and incentives to make it more affordable. Call Florida Home AC at 777-4300 and get their expert staff to take a look. Football season is all about fun and playing for the win. Make sure you have the winning team on your side with Florida Home AC.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow, mirrors cut exactly to your style, fogged or broken glass replaced, decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Hey folks, this is Denny Thompson, and when it comes to protecting my home, I turn to Tyson, the leaders in state-of-the-art home security right here in Jacksonville. Their AI cameras and smart doorbells are top-notch, keeping an eye on what matters most. Whether you're moving in or upgrading, Tyson offers flexible packages, rent or own, with specials on the first 3 years. Ramp up now for the holidays, the perfect gift for you or someone you love. Call Tyson today at 590-7979 for details.
Touchdowns are great, but hand-delivered fall flowers, that's the real MVP move. Jacksonville Flower Market can help you be the MVP. Pick up at Beach and Southside or online at jacksonvilleflowermarket.com. Jacksonville Flower Market, where love wins every Sunday.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The series shifts to Los Angeles tonight at Dodger Stadium. LA, a big-time favorite here. Glasnow against Scherzer. I was kind of hoping for a Scherzer-Kershaw matchup, but it looks like Clayton Kershaw will be pitching out of the bullpen. Series locked at 1. Again, Game 3 tonight. That'll be at 8 o'clock. And we'll wrap up Week 8 in the NFL with, again, 10 of the 11 games played yesterday. Just shocking. Double-digit victories in 10 of those 11 games. I mean, that's not supposed to happen in the NFL tonight. Chiefs. And the Chiefs are the odds-on favorite today to win the Super Bowl with a 4-3 record. And they're 3-1 at home, again favored by 10.5. It's 48.5 tonight is the total in that game. 7967 says, Rick, I'm so tired of every personality at your station saying that Trevor Lawrence throws passes that only a couple of quarterbacks could have thrown. That's just a ridiculous statement. I watch highlights of McCarthy and Fields, too. They all make those kind of throws. Instead of saying only 2 or 3 quarterbacks could make the throw on one of Trevor's routine passes that he misses, start saying 30 of the 32 quarterbacks would have made that throw. I can't talk for anyone else at the radio station. I do say that, and what you're saying is not true. It's not. Trevor makes some throws that only a few guys in the league can make. It's a totally different topic about missing. And if you listen to the interview that I just did with Daniel Griffiths, a big part of it was missing the layups, missing the screens, missing some passes that you absolutely have to make. High percentage passes are misses. But we've learned one thing, Dylan, forever. It doesn't matter what I say. It matters what you hear.
That's 100% right. And usually whatever you feel like your opinion is before you start talking is what you usually feel after you get done talking.
All right. So I appreciate and you got to. I just got to tell you, self-evaluation, no one is harder on myself than I am. But when I can do a show and I have people telling me directly or indirectly that I am a Trevor Lawrence apologist, and then the next person tells me I'm way too hard on Trevor Lawrence, man, that's like an ice cold 22-ounce, I'm going to go with a Labatt's Ballou draft. Frothy, ice cold, a little bit of foam. That is absolutely the pinnacle in this business, to say the same thing, yet get totally different reactions from you. I thank you. And you can react. 641-1010 on the text line. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, as well on YouTube tonight. Just go to 1010XL into the night.
It's D-Rock's Deep Dive into Jacksonville football.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure? Mike DeRocco with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony every Thursday on Jaguars Today. Opened by Lee and Kate's Glass on 1010XL. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL. Brought to you by San Jose Collision.
Gators are on the other side of their second and final bye week of the season, as interim head coach Billy Gonzalez will lead the team against Georgia this weekend in one of the greatest rivalry games in all of college football, right here at Everbank Stadium this Saturday at 3:30 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $3,600 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 28th, 1989, the Oakland Athletics sweep the San Francisco Giants in the World Series after Game 3 was delayed 10 days from an earthquake.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari, at Bari Orthopedics.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, garagedoor911.com.
Jacksonville is football season, and Duck Duck Rooter is proud to be on your home team. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, we tackle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning problems with championship-level service. Keep an eye out for our custom Jaguar wrap plumbing vans rolling around town. They're hard to miss and always ready for the next play at your home or business. With thousands of 5-star Google reviews and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, trust Duck Duck Rooter to keep you in the game. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings. We coat it all: garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,700 five-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design help us get organized at home. They create custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Closets by Design will transform clutter into seamless organization. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation, but only until October 31st. 18-month financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Pick in here, celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139, plus a free haul, and take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of these huge savings.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Well, it's a busy Monday. We love it. It rained again on this Monday. It happens all the time on Mondays during football season. But it's a hell of a lot better when there isn't a loss. And for the Jaguars, Knowles, and Gators, they didn't play. Therefore, I imagine the week started off fairly well for you. We have an hour to go tonight, Ballou, with Denmark here. Tomorrow night I'm off. My GF's going to have surgery tomorrow. So I'm going to be out on Tuesday. I'll be back Wednesday, and I'm going to become helmets and heels because they're on their way to Las Vegas. So that means Wednesday I'll be doing the show 2 to 4. I will be back Thursday and Friday night, 6 until 8. And then first thing Saturday morning, I am making my way to Las Vegas to see the Jaguars and the Raiders. I think it's a very winnable game for Jacksonville. We just talked about this a moment ago on the heels of the conversation with Daniel Griffiths about starting slow. You know, it's probably the one aspect of the game that I have complained about more than anything else. Maybe the offensive line as well. And it felt like early on this year, the Jaguars were doing some pretty good things in the first quarter and with the first drive. It has totally gone away from them in the last couple of games. And Liam Coen was asked about starting fast earlier today.
Absolutely. We looked at that as well as, the starting fast element. And games that we've started fast on offense, we've been able to, I don't want to say control the game, but just have a better feel early, gets our guys in a rhythm early, gets the quarterback confidence early. So we're looking at how can we kind of tweak, practice later in the week a little bit to say, all right, hey, these are the openers, guys, on Friday. Maybe get it to them a little bit early or whatever it is so that, hey, they have a little bit better idea of what's going to get called earlier in the game and try to get some of those things repped on Fridays.
It's got to work if this team wants to get back and, begin to win football games. They're averaging 3.3 points in the first quarter. That's not enough. And again, Liam Cohen's team last year in Tampa averaged 6.7 a game. It was higher earlier on, but it has really dipped. So, even if it is a first possession field goal, and then maybe you can score on your second drive, that is a heck of a lot better than what they've been able to do lately. I think that's a huge component. You look at some of these numbers, they don't make any sense. I mean, there's been no turnovers in the last couple of weeks. Trevor Lawrence has not turned the ball over despite these losses. How about third down defense against Seattle and Los Angeles? Jacksonville has held their opponent to 3 of 22 on third down. I mean, those are like record-setting numbers. Now, I know others will say it's because they've been giving up a ton on first down. They've been giving up a ton on second down. Okay, that's acceptable, but still, 3 of 22. They were 1 for 12 with Seattle, and they were 2 of 10 in London against Los Angeles. That is very encouraging as to how well your defense has played. Last week was just an abomination with those 5 touchdown passes, but nonetheless, the numbers do make you look at it for a second time. All right, I want to start to dive into your questions because we're getting just a ton of them tonight. But can we clear the air here? You're not giving up on Brian Thomas Jr., are you? It's been a miserable season. But we already talked about it, the reporting of Diana Rossini when it came to Brian Thomas Jr. And again, the way she phrased it, she kind of protected herself, but she threw it out there. She muddied the waters a little bit. If you missed us in the first hour, Coen said they're not trading him. But it seems to me like there is a portion of the fan base that is like, get him out of here, okay? You no longer want this guy to be the part of the football team. I could not disagree with that thought anymore. He needs to be coached up. He needs to be fixed, and I think a lot of it is mental at this point. I don't know what's going on. You know, he's gun shy. He's got alligator arms. He's hearing footsteps. He's scared. He doesn't have a great relationship with Trevor Lawrence. He had more success with Mac Jones. I mean, it's all on the table. It's all there, right? My way of reasoning here is more targets to Travis Hunter. Hunter should be your primary target for the rest of the season. Take a little bit of pressure off of Brian Thomas Jr. But some of you are like, no, let's move him. You're never going to get value. That's the answer to this question. His value right now has gone down because of the way that he's playing. It's up to this organization to get to him and try to fix him and get him to where he was a year ago. You've seen how good he can be. And, you know, to me, this is totally different than moving Tyson Campbell, okay? When you move Tyson Campbell to Cleveland, that was about eliminating a really bad contract, all right? A bad Trent Baalke contract. And you bring in Greg Newsome, who Liam talked about as well today, and you'd really hope that between him and Buster Brown, that they're able to, you know, really fortify that secondary and that you can use Hunter less on that side of the ball and then much more on the offense. But for, you know, Greg Newsome, it's a show-me year. I mean, he's right there now with Diami Brown. You either get the job done this year or you move on. Now, right now, based on what we've seen, he's not going to earn another contract. He's not going to play for the Jaguars. That's fair, but there's a lot of season left. He could turn that around. There's a lot of guys that are playing under a show-me year, right? And moving Tyson Campbell and freeing up all that cash may be enough now for this organization to re-sign Devin Lloyd, who you hope is healthy and ready to go on Sunday. We'll see with that first injury report when it comes out on Wednesday. Travis Etienne, I don't care how good he is. I think the position is not valued, and they'll move along from Travis Etienne this year. Diami Brown, I don't think he's done anything to earn another contract. He's putting up numbers that were very similar to what he did during his career in the District of Columbia. Okay, I don't see them offering him a contract extension. Buster Brown is very intriguing to me. He may be the guy next to Devin Lloyd that makes the most sense to bring back, okay? Andrew Wingard just struggles in coverage as a safety. I think this is it. Maybe Dewey can get paid somewhere else. I have to look at the safety position as really one of the premier ones that has to be addressed during this offseason. Then you got other guys who I think are all gone. You know, Colin Saunders, Quentin Morris, DeJuan Smoot, Austin Johnson, Tim Patrick, Emmanuel Ogba, Cole Van Lannon. You can maybe make a case for Dennis Gardeck based on what he does during the second half of the season. But no, I do not support moving Brian Thomas Jr. Can you imagine if they did, Dylan, and all of a sudden he goes to a team and he starts lighting things up once again? This is a deal where, in my opinion, you got to find out how to fix him. You can't move him.
You mean you don't want to turn him into a Caleb Chase on?
Yeah. I watched that whole game yesterday. The guy's Guy's playing he almost had 2 sacks.
Really? Jeez.
Playing some really good football in New England.
And it's funny because, Myles Garrett has 5 sacks, and, that's only happened, I think, like 12 times in the history of the NFL, and, like, they didn't even come close to winning.
Right.
But, yeah.
He is such a beast, though.
Oh, it's unreal.
I mean, he ate up the first round. Is it Compton? Who's the guy they got out
Will
of?
Campbell.
Will Campbell out of LSU. I mean, just ate him up. It was like, welcome to the NFL, rookie.
No, if Brian Thomas Jr. goes to another team, you just know for a fact that some offensive guru around the league would die to get their hands on him, and then he would flourish, and he would become a top 10 receiver like everyone thought he would be here in Jacksonville, like everybody said he would the entire offseason.
I love Edgar Bennett. I went to Florida State with Edgar Bennett. He was one of my all-time favorite Knowles. I think we graduated right around the same time. But maybe that's the difference. If things don't improve, maybe he's shown the door. I hate to say it. I don't want to see anyone get fired. But you're going to have to make a change. I mean, coaching matters. And, I'm hopeful that this thing can completely turn around during the second half of the season. But, yeah, I'm surprised that there are people out there that are like, just move him. You got to look at value. He's in year 2 of a rookie contract. I mean, you have him for at least 2.5 years. 53-51 Ballou. I think Brian Thomas Jr. will be able to turn around this year if he's going to do it. Now is the time following a bye week. Hope he gets rid of the drops. He has been a net negative when he is on the field. We have been worse off because of him. Those drops are vital. Man, it's frustrating. If he can't fix it, I say we trade him. Well, there you go. There's another one. I just went through why I'm not trading him. All right? Great coaching can fix talented players. The Jaguar offensive coaches have a lot on their plate right now. You're talking about the development of Travis Hunter. You're talking about fixing Brian Thomas Jr. You're talking about getting with Trevor Lawrence and taking him to a spot that he's never been. So that's hard, not to mention the offensive line and all of the pressures and sacks they've allowed the last couple of weeks. 42-91 Ballou. I saw you from afar at the Derek and Susan show. Hell of a 2 nights. Keep it up. It was phenomenal. Right down there in the pit. I think I was 7 rows back. 11 musicians on stage. And then I went backstage, and you should see what it's like. I'd never been backstage at the St. Aug Amp. Maybe I'll throw it out on a reel. But just all of the, artists who've been there over the years and decades, and the memorabilia that is up there with some of those bands is my favorite was Paul Simon. It was like an old 1956, 57 baseball card type of deal with Paul Simon. But, you name it, man. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson. It just goes on and on and on, the list of acts that have been there. But, man, that was a fun time on Saturday night. And then how lucky am I about this weekend? Okay.
Derek Trucks?
Yeah. So I'm backstage talking with Derek and Susan, and then he's like, we're going to Vegas Saturday. We're going to go to the Jaguars game. I'm like, that's great. I'll be there. Let's hook up. He's like, yeah, what are you doing Saturday night? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. He's like, well, you want to join us and go see the Eagles at the Spear? I'm like, let me think about this. Okay. So there you go. That'll be my Saturday night with Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi. I love the Spear. I went a year ago, March, to go see U2. I've already seen the Eagles 3 times, but this should be a whole heck of a lot of fun coming up on Saturday night as well. So I'll see you in Vegas for those who are making the trip, all right? And it's a big one, no doubt about it. Jaguars have to get back and start winning some football games. We have much more to do. If you want to join us, you can on YouTube. Just go to 1010XL into the night as well. The text line burning up. You can join us there, 641-1010, and that's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
The atmosphere of a college football Saturday is electric.
Get pregame news and notes you need to know before the games begin.
It's the Bueller Aaron Plumbing College Kickoff.
Served up by Sonny's Barbecue.
Friday night at 6 on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. Looking for a dealership that makes car buying easy? Let me tell you why Nimnick Buick GMC is the place to shop. At Nimnick, you'll find unbeatable prices, a huge selection of Buicks and GMCs, plus flexible financing that works around your budget. Whether it's a new SUV, a work-ready truck, or a certified pre-owned, they've got you covered. They back it up with trusted service and transparent deals. Don't wait. Shop 24/7 online at NimnickBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom on Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Sawgrass Asset Management loves this time of year when two decorated teams meet in the world of college football. Every year, we relive the rivalry with great moments from both sides of the big game thanks to Sawgrass Asset Management, specializing in high-quality growth stock and fixed income portfolios for institutional and high-net-worth investors. The Jacksonville Company, proud to be involved in the community. That's Sawgrass Asset Management. Log on to saw-grass.com to find out more.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800, or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life, and I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
You already know it's your main man E to the T here for Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft. And with ball season here, make sure you're on the lookout for my instant reaction before, during, or after the game. All brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts. Come on, somebody.
Quality work is sometimes hard to come by these days, and if you want quality in a fence that'll last, make the call to Duval. Duval Fence, that is, a good Jacksonville company with good Jacksonville people committed to quality service. If you need a fence for your home, for a business, anything, just call Duval Fence at 260-4747. Give them an idea of what you're looking for, and they'll take care of the rest. Property fence, privacy fence, pool, or pets. Make sure you call Duval Fence today.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Since 1901, generations of skilled union workers have built the backbone of our community. Hospitals, schools, the buildings where you work. Every year, a new apprentice class of Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians is stepping up, trained, driven, and ready to do great things. They're not just building our city, they're building their future. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to become a member or contractor today.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, I was just asked about who has the final say if there was a trade for Brian Thomas Jr. And they said Liam Coen. I don't know. This is where, all three have a discussion. And is it the majority? The way I look at things, I've always felt that the general manager should have the final say on players, okay? Who you're drafting, who you're adding as a free agent, who you're trading, and the coach should have the ultimate say on his staff. Now, everything is changing in this world, and, this was a big deal if you look back how they did all of this, right? And, I always thought there could be an issue. What's it going to be like behind closed doors? If, what if one of those three is like, we got to move him. It's never going to work for him. Just get him out of here. He's bad for the building, bad for the Mill Electric Center. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just hypothetically speaking. And the other two are like, no. He's got way too much time. We got to fix him. This is going to be more problematic when they are struggling, when they're losing. When they're winning, everything's fine. When they're winning, you can move Tyson Campbell and talk about eliminating a major contract and going out and getting a guy like Greg Newsom. But, I'm just looking here, man. I mean, this is crazy, all of the people that are like, just, go on out and trade Brian Thomas Jr. I totally, absolutely disagree with that. How come I can't pull up? You got to be kidding me. We got some helter-skelter going on with the
text line.
Row. So that's not good because I like to get to our listeners. Obviously, I have plenty to do, but I'd like to get you involved with the show. Mark Smith says they ate most of the guaranteed money, so I didn't get yada, yada, yada. No, I don't want to do that. Does Jimmy Smith have any coaching skills or maybe an assistant? Jimmy Smith, we had on a couple of weeks ago, and he's been very outspoken about how he's too high with his stance, Brian Thomas Jr. And I've never heard that before. That is something that was all new to me. And Jimmy was really, pretty expressive about it. And he made some good points. And, who's going to argue with Jimmy Smith when it comes to what to do and what not to do at the wide receiver position? But no, I'm not aware of him doing really anything whatsoever as far as being a coach. Certainly, Keenan McCardell has over the years. And what he's been able to do has been really good. All right, let's see if we can fix this. 4751 says, Ballou, when was the last time the Jags were favored by more than a field goal on the road? I'm heading out this weekend to send and look the numbers up. I have to do some research on that. Where were they? That was the House of Horrors at Tennessee. That's a very good question. Unfortunately, I don't have that answer for you, but we can certainly look it up and see what it is. But, yeah, the Jaguars have not been an organization that has been favored on the road. And they're going to be a few times this year. I don't think there's any question about it. All right. Let's move along since I'm just struggling with getting your questions, and I will get to that coming up hopefully after the next break. A little bit of news involved with Florida State. Mike Norvell did speak today, and he had no update whatsoever on Thomas Castellanos. Okay, he continues to be day-to-day. Gus Malzahn has talked about a two-quarterback system, which involves, the rookie, the freshman Kevin Sperry. It also involves Brock Glenn. By, Gus Malzahn saying that, it's crystal clear to me that they don't have a plan, and they don't know what they are going to do if Thomas Castellanos cannot play. Where I'm at this point, I don't want Thomas Castellanos to play. Okay, I want to find out if you have anything here in Kevin Sperry. Now, I said the same thing a year ago with, Luke Kromenhoek. And he actually went to a worse program than Florida State. He went to Mississippi State. And he cannot get on the field. But if there's one thing that you would like to see in the next 5 weeks, it's, can this young man play? Can Kevin Sperry play? Now, I have a feeling, and I'm sure the Seminole fans think the exact same way, that when it comes to Florida State, Mike Norvell's trying to win every game that he can. So he's going to play Thomas Castellanos. I mean, no one can argue with that. Thomas Castellanos gives him the best chance to win. But if you're where I'm at and this season is a wash, it's like, who cares? It's about developing Sperry, see what you have for the next coach who does come aboard. And, I think that is clearly going to be the situation. It'll be interesting to see how they play for Mike Norvell. Whether or not these kids are going to quit. I think it's a very difficult situation to be a part of now. Sending his coordinators out first last week before he even spoke. He spoke this Monday, right? Why didn't he last Monday? Because it was a bye, whatever it was. He sent his coordinators out, and they had to answer all the questions about, the ridiculous release from the athletic director. It just didn't make any sense. Something else that I'm really struggling with, and, this, I think I've mentioned it perhaps once briefly, but what's going on with Jimbo? Why this infatuation with Jimbo Fisher? It's like, man, I'm just trying to understand fandom. Trying to understand why a lot of Jaguar fans now are like, you've wiped your hands clean with Brian Thomas Jr. Then you look at a guy like Jimbo Fisher who just flat out quit on you. Okay? Mike Norvell didn't quit. Mike Norvell failed. Mike Norvell is not a good coach. Okay? It wasn't for the lack of effort. It wasn't for, the lack of putting everything that he had into this program. Unfortunately, Mike Norvell is not a good recruiter. Unfortunately, Mike Norvell is not a good in-game coach. We saw that in year one with Notre Dame going for it on fourth down. We saw it against Jacksonville State when he didn't play prevent. I mean, the stuff's right there. You can ignore it if you want, but he's not a good coach. Jimbo is a good coach who packed up and left because he wanted everything and he didn't get it. Well, guess what? Everything he wanted ended up coming to fruition. But he still left the family. And people are like, oh, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back. Let me tell you, I have been hell no. I have been over my dead body. For the first time in my life, I am starting to just a little bit move in this direction. Because I'll tell you, if you give Fisher what he wants, that man can recruit. That man can coach. I don't think he should be calling plays. I think he should be overseeing the program. You got to give him enough money to get the best coaching staff that he possibly can. I'm not 100% in, but I'm starting to understand why this does make sense for Florida State fans. You are willing to forgive, not forget. I think it comes down to look at all of these jobs that are open and look at all of these jobs that are going to open once again. You know what you have in Jimbo Fisher. Now, he won a lot of big games, right? There's no doubt he did. He was masterful with Jameis Winston. He still sent out first-round picks and Ponder and Manuel and whatever, but there was always a difficult loss. There'd be one at least a year that they would lose that they shouldn't lose. But I think that's a whole heck of a lot better than what you've seen in the last couple of years. So I'm starting to at least acknowledge this and say, you know what, maybe this is the right move. Only time will tell. Let me wrap it up before the break. Again, I've always done a radio show based on what I think fans want to hear. And I think I spend more time talking about fans and interacting with fans than anyone. But I do have a difficult time figuring out what is going through your mind at times. Deion Sanders. Now, right now, it just looks like Deion Sanders cannot coach. I stayed up and watched the Utah massacre. It was just brutal. I have always had the vision of bringing Deion to Florida State, allow him to hire the best coaches that he possibly can. Again, Deion's not calling plays. Deion's not running the defense. Deion is in charge of the NIL. Deion is in charge of recruiting. He lets game day coaches work the offense and defense. Florida State fans hate this idea. Florida State fans have burnt his jersey. In my opinion, there's not anyone even remotely close to Bobby Bowden when it comes to building Florida State. For me, number 2, it's Deion Sanders. It's not Jameis Winston. It's not Charlie Ward. It's not Warwick Dunn. It's not Marvin Jones. It's not Derek Brooks. It's not Chris Winkie. It's not Peter Warwick. It's not Dalvin Cook. It's Deion friggin' Sanders. He is a monster. And he did what he was supposed to do by taking Travis Hunter and making him a part of Jackson State. How can this fan base be so down on Deion for doing his job, yet this same fan base is like the guy who left you in Jimbo Fisher? Oh, come on back. I can't add that up. I can't get even remotely close to understanding why you feel that way. For the record, I've always wanted Deion. I think health concerns are a big problem there for Deion Sanders. And, you bring him in a year or two, all of a sudden you find out that he can no longer go because his body's really breaking down. To me, that would be enough of a warning sign to stay away. As much as I just would love Deion Sanders at Florida State for the reasons that I identified. Others will say he's just a bad coach. He didn't have Hunter, didn't have his sons. He's a bad coach. It may be the case. We'll see. But again, just don't understand why Noel fans are thinking the way that they are. All right, let's head to a break. You know something else, Dylan? They retired. Charlie Ward's now the coach of FAMU. They retired his number yesterday during a scrimmage between FSU and FAMU.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Maybe it was Charlie Ward, who never really has been an attention seeker. But first of all, you should have retired his number 20 years ago. Secondly, doesn't he deserve the bright lights? I mean, can't you do it during halftime of a Duke game or a North Carolina? I mean, you do it during a preseason, a game that doesn't even count. Now, I understand he's with FAMU, and maybe he said, listen, I'm so enthralled with my team, I'm not going to have time to come over during the regular season. But it just seems like when Florida State's asked to make a decision, man, they always make the wrong one.
Yeah, or you could do it during a football game. I know, you're doing it for basketball, but that's you would think that you could find something better than a preseason. That feels like you're kind of burying that situation.
Yeah, he may have asked for it. Again, he's not a guy that craves a lot of attention. I know that from the days where I actually covered Charlie Ward. All right, let's continue on. 641-1010 on the text line. We're taking a rubber hammer to this bad boy, trying to work it out. And you can also join us on YouTube. Go to 1010XL. Into the night.
The Gator Boys are back and ready to defend their national title.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
This is Gator Country. Your home for Gators hoops is 1010XL.
This is your escape. This is your next adventure. This is Mazda, and this is Mazda at the Avenues. Lauren Brooks here. Right now, purchase any new Mazda model, and Mazda at the Avenues will match your down payment or your payments for 1 full year. Plus, every new Mazda comes with 3 years, 36,000 miles of maintenance at no additional charge to you. This is luxury, and this is the start of something new. This is Mazda at the Avenues. For complete details, call 904-430-8047.
October means brakes for breasts at Expert Automotive, who's teamed up with TechNet so you can get or give $40 and help us put the brakes on breast cancer. The entire month of October, schedule a brake job at Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff, and Expert will match TechNet's $40 give or get, giving $80 back to you or brakes for breasts to put the brakes on breast cancer. Book online at expertautojacks.com. Visit us at St. John's Bluff or call 374-3373. Help Expert Automotive put the brakes on breast cancer.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group, 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
It's time for the Plumbing 411 from Superior Plumbing and Pipeline. Clogged drains happen when grease, soap, hair, and debris build up over time. Even tree roots can invade your pipes. All this leads to the annoying water pooling in your sink or tub. Superior Plumbing and Pipeline has the tools and know-how to clear stubborn clogs and keep them from coming back. Don't ignore a slow drain. It could lead to bigger problems. Make the superior choice when your drains are clogged and learn more at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
If you're between ages 16 and 24, you can learn a career in construction, electrical, plumbing, or masonry with free training from the AMI Kids Florida Registered Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Call 576-7337.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Big story today. Liam Coen saying Brian Thomas Jr. is not going anywhere. He had a Monday press conference and, responded to the report by Diana Rossini over the weekend. Diana was very busy. She threw all sorts of stuff out there, including Steve Sarkisian, just a whole bunch of really intriguing stuff. But Liam put an end to it. The trade deadline is November 4th. Also tonight, Game 3 of the World Series, Chavez Ravine. The series does shift in Los Angeles. And 10 of the 11 games yesterday, double digits or more in the NFL. Only the Jets-Bengals game, 39-38. Everything else was a blowout. Will that be the deal tonight with Kansas City in their matchup against Washington? We will see. Looking forward to watching both of these games. 78-63, Ballou, with Trevor's ranking of all the quarterbacks so far this year, would you still take him over Nix, Dart, Daniels, etc.? And please don't use the fourth coach on offense, etc. Okay. I would not take him over Bo Nix. I would not take him over Jackson Dart. I would take Daniels over Trevor. What he did last year in the playoffs was scary. And I'll tell you another young quarterback, I watched him play the entire game yesterday. I think I would take Drake May right now over Trevor Lawrence. Doesn't mean I've given up on Trevor. Where are you with those 4 young quarterbacks? What would you do?
I'm about the same. I feel like Jaden Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Drake May is phenomenal. This point, the other 2, Bo Nix, I feel like it's because a lot of it has to do with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Everybody judges quarterbacks. We never have the conversation of, okay, what's the coaching like? What's his coordinator like? What's his offensive line? Everybody last year, Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. Now his team has kind of been iffy, and the offensive line hasn't been there. Saquon Barkley hasn't been able to run the ball as much. And now it's like, okay, what is he?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that conversation enough with quarterbacks. But I think with Bo Nix, it's about the situation he's in. And I would probably the same as you.
Yeah.
I'd only take those 2 guys.
We're seeing the Reclamation Project of a lot of QBs. Really began with Goff, now Arnold, and certainly Daniel Jones. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Carson Wentz now gone for the year, so you're finally going to see what J.J. McCarthy can end up doing. But, I mean, you're as good as your quarterback is. And I still think the best of Trevor Lawrence is coming. I think next year he'll be even better. I think 2027 he'll be even better. A lot of you are losing patience, and I get it. I understand it. But I still think it's a work in progress. 0700 says, Bo, I think the long-term problem with the Jags is Gladstone. He's trying to make a splash and make this a win-now team with the Hunter trade and Newsome. It's a longer rebuild. Well, it's always been a big rebuild. The 2 moves you mentioned, I support. The Hunter deal, I think, is getting ready to explode right in front of our face. I expect him to be the most targeted wide receiver this weekend in Las Vegas. And I expect him to start to really put up some impressive offensive numbers. I think we're going to get a little bit less on defense, just my opinion. Hey, his former coach Deion Sanders came out and said he should be playing more on defense. We don't know what is going to happen. Again, the Tyson Campbell trade for Newsome, you got rid of that brutal contract. What if by doing that, it gives you enough to re-sign Devin Lloyd? Or what if by doing that, it gives you enough to really go after a premier free agent after the season? I got to look at it that way. That was a bad deal that Trent Baalke had. I mean, all the contracts, they didn't seem to be working out with Walker Little either, does it? 40-42, Ballou. Rick, as the Jags need to cut ties with Brian Thomas Jr. now because next year they really won't get anything for him. I'm going to stay with my opinion, and I feel like I'm falling more and more into the minority here. Again, the only thing that changes my opinion is what I see on the field, right? Outside of the Jimbo deal that I just talked about 15, 20 minutes ago. That one's kind of muddy for me. I'm hoping. I really am. I'm hoping that things turn around for the better. 53-51 is an FSU. I put $100 on Stanford money line. I'm going to do the same thing against Wake. Yeah, that line's already gone from 8.5 to 7, so a lot of Wake Forest money coming in. He says maybe I could buy Mike's buyout. Hey, they'll take your call over there.
I was thinking, remember about a month ago or about a month and a half ago when Alabama lost to Florida State? They're talking about the lottery and all the fans were like, hey, we're going to buy out Kalen DeBoer.
It's a massive change. He still is the odds-on. Alabama's still the odds-on favorite to win the SEC.
Yeah.
Even though Texas A&M had that huge road win and they are undefeated. I heard good football people say Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. He's just not a coach that is suited well for Alabama.
Yeah, in other words, put the constant pressure every single day, more lax situation like he was out west, essentially.
84-46 Ballou. Man, that's a good idea about the FSU coaching, the pieces surrounding Deion Sanders. That is what I've wanted. I'm backing away from that now, and I hate to say it, but I'm concerned about Deion, man. He's had toes amputated. He's got blood clots. in his lower body. Who knows what else he's dealing with, but, I think that's enough for me to be like, let's go in a different direction. Rick, how about Larry Key, Ron Simmons building FSU? The older guys always forgotten. No, I love Ron's. I mean, when he was, what was he, what was his wrestling name? I had him in studio a few times in Tallahassee back in the day. Always been a big fan of Ron Simmons. Like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Those are some of the founding fathers. And, you put Fred Biletnikoff in there if you do want. You put Ron Sellers in there if you do want. Hate to offend those that are a little bit older, but to me, after Bowden, it's Dion. It's not even close. And I tell you what else is a total huge misconception over there is that Derek Brooks, was the greatest linebacker. He wasn't. Marvin Jones was better. All right? I'm not talking about pro football. I'm talking about in college. Marvin Jones was absolutely sensational in college football. 78-63 was Trevor. We already did that one. 71-87 put Brian Thomas in the Ingram catching protocol. Put the glass. All right, you know what? That was impressive seeing that. Evan Ingram, first one out, last one to leave, working on the jugs machine, working on catching just tennis balls, doing everything he could to overcome the label of not being, a great pass catcher. And he certainly changed that around while he was here. His work ethic was superb. I've never seen anything remotely questionable as far as Brian Thomas Jr.'s work ethic. I've never seen it. I've just unfortunately seen him drop a lot of balls. He's got the talent. You know it. And, I'm just hoping for better things here with him. And we'll see. Maybe this weekend in Las Vegas, where the Jaguars right now sit as a 3-point favorite. All right, final thoughts coming up. Again, I'm off tomorrow. The GF having surgery tomorrow, so I'll be off tomorrow night. I try to never miss a show during football, but obviously this is a very important reason. I'm in on Wednesday from 2 to 4 because the Helmets and Heels crew is on their way to Las Vegas, so they'll be on an airplane. I'll do 2 to 4 on Wednesday, then 6 to 8 Thursday and Friday, and I'll see you folks in Vegas for the Jaguars and Raiders.
Celebrating 30 years in Jack's Beach. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn is your go-to for cash on the spot. They buy gold. Huge sale on firearms all month. Save during Florida's Second Amendment sales tax holiday with no sales tax on firearms. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
Big number one Duval Ford is trusted by Duval families, Duval businesses, and law enforcement across Florida. We're Jacksonville's largest Ford dealer by new Ford sales with the biggest service facility to keep everything in your driveway and in your fleet on the road. Shop Big number one Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue for our low prices and nationally recognized service-first experience. Big number one Duval Ford, proudly serving North Florida since 1916.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is served by Tandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
Northeast Florida Auto, Power Sports, and RV dealers. Tom McMahon is here for Dealer Connect. The nation's #1 AI conference for dealers is coming to Jacksonville October 29th and 30th at the Marriott Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach. It's 2 days of tackling the future of AI in automotive with some of the industry's biggest names. Keynote speaker, Hall of Famer Joe Theismann will autograph items to benefit the Tom Coughlin J Fund. Get tickets now at DealerConnect2025.com. That's DealerConnect2025.com.
It's the fall savings event going on now at Renewal by Andersen. Upgrading your home has never been easier. Get 20% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires October 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Don't ghost your carpet this fall. Hicken here. Right now, you can get your entire home zero resified from Jacksonville's Ultimate Carpet Cleaner and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 plus a free haul for Halloween. Get it? There's something scarier than ghosts and goblins hiding in your home. It's in your air ducts. This month, take 50% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
No more climbing ladders or tree shopping or untangling lights, no way. Coen Flowers will take care of it for you this fall when you schedule their holiday home decorating team. Hot Flying Jacko here. Now's a good time to call on Coen Flowers. They'll do it all this fall.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
What 2 vegetables are combined in making succotash?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In order to make succotash, you'll need dry corn and dry beans. Suffering succotash was made famous by Sylvester the Cat.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hacker Nation's coming up right now. 10 of the 11 games yesterday in the NFL decided by double digits or more. Never happens.
It was not a great week. I tried to get into it on the red zone, watching all the games, and you hope for some really nail-biting finishes. But when the Jets and the Bengals is the best game and the 1 o'clock slate, it just wasn't a very good Sunday.
I was surprised that Brian Kelly got fired. I know he's lost to Vandy and he lost to Texas A&M. I wouldn't have been shocked if it happened at the end of the year. But I didn't expect to wake up on Sunday morning to see that.
No, I wouldn't either. My initial thought was, all right, does LSU believe that Lane Kiffin is going to Florida? And if there's any questions about Kelly's future there, are they going to jump the gun and fire Kelly? And they obviously did. Now, I don't know if that means anything. It could mean something, could mean nothing. Although I've been led to believe today by people out in Louisiana, and again, we're so early in this thing, who knows, they think they have a puncher's chance at Dan Lanning.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. I can't imagine Dan Lanning ever leaving Nike money in Eugene, Oregon. But if he were to leave, I mean, LSU's got to be awfully tempting, so we'll see. And then Kiffin goes on McAfee today and says, well, money won't dictate where I go. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then why haven't you signed your extension yet in Oxford there, Lane?
Well, they're 7-1. You have South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, all at home, and that Mississippi State. They're going to be favorites in all 4 of those games. They go 11-1. Even if they go 10-2, they're going to the playoffs. That means you're gambling on getting Lane Kiffin deep in the month of January.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you would have to have some assurance from him behind closed doors that I'm coming, regardless, and you wouldn't make a hire. But, yeah, you're right. That's a weird situation. I was rooting passionately for Oklahoma. I was also rooting passionately for Vanderbilt because Drinkowitz was in the same boat.
Right.
I think Drinkowitz will be the quote-unquote backup plan for the Gators. Let me throw a name at you. Lincoln Riley.
Yeah?
Is that a name you think might start stirring up some interest if he wants to get out of Southern Cal and head to the SEC?
I'd hate that. I'd hate that if he went to Florida. I watched what he did at Oklahoma in that high-octane offense. I think he's a really good coach, and he just hasn't seemed to really get along with everything that's going there at SC. That's an intriguing name. All right, what do you got up tonight?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a lot of Gators. Actually, Bill Bender of the Sporting News is going to join me to talk about the coaching carousel. There is a football game. It's going to be played here in Jacksonville on Saturday. We might talk about that a little bit as well. It's all off-the-field stuff. Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, and, of course, the Jaguars back to work. We'll do a little Monday night coaching with Campo. Dave Campo joins me in about 30 minutes.
All right, have a fun show.
Thanks, Rick.
It's going to do it for us tonight. Again, I'm off tomorrow. The GF with some surgery.